Hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 and the Survival Series. Right, so it has been exactly around a month since I've been on this series, and I think it's time for a bit of a recap as well. So I think the best thing to do is go into flight mode, let's get this on, and we'll also turn on super speed and we'll fly around. So I started off on this series with about £150 and a tiny little tractor. It was the Porsche I've actually put it up over here on show. So let's just have a quick look at this so you can get a bit of a reference where I started. So that's how I started off, with that little tiny thing, a bit of a log trailer, and yeah, we started off with hardly anything. I did have a log cabin about here, and yeah, it was bare. We didn't have hardly any of the stuff we've built up to now. And then over time, I've obviously built money and progressed and built things, and I call them like expansions within the end of the year. I try and set myself a target and keep building a part of the farm and so on. But like, just because it's been a month, I thought the best thing to do is recap from where we're currently at. So that's pretty much the aim of the series. We're obviously starting off from scratch. We've done pretty well already so far, and we're going to try and keep going because I'm not going to let this series beat me. I'm definitely going to carry on because I want to get some good equipment, some good pastures and all that kind of stuff. And I'd still think we're pretty much on the low scale. We've not got much top end equipment. I think we still need to aim for stuff like that. We haven't got very good pastures or anything for animals really. We've got a few tiny chicken pens, a small sheep thing that really is quite pointless. It doesn't produce me hardly any wool, so I think at some point we need to try and aim for an improvement on that side. And we've got a cow pasture and shed that we haven't not long had, and it's doing well for milk. Problem is it's got no byproducts, so I don't get any slurry or manure from this. So yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. So for more recent recap, we've not long been planting trees down to try and have like a tree farm going on, you could say, where we kind of replant what we're trying to chop down and then circulate through that, so it's kind of self-sustained. Because we chopped down a hell of a lot of trees, and it has been the main source of income on this series. So I do want to carry that on. So we've been planting trees along the way, and I will give you a bit of an idea. So this is the grass field, and then as you can see, all these trees that are pretty much like I think like the medium stage. I think there's two more growth stages. I think they start off like this, move to that, and then you've got this stage here, and then finally that one. So we want to try and get them to that full growth point before we chop them down. So you can see all these trees here that are kind of like medium size, they have been planted in by us, and we're going to be chopping them down as soon as we can. So we are planting trees along the way. And if we move over to this section, which is pretty new as well, we've got ourselves a bunker that we've actually not done any silage this year because we're trying to stock up on feed, because we kind of got really low previously, to the point where we were buying in hay, which cost us a fortune, and that's something we don't really want to be doing. So I've made this year a focus to stock up on hay, straw and silage, and we've done that. And especially in the previous episodes, I think we were doing the straw. A couple episodes before that we did silage, so we've wrapped them and they're away. We've also got some production features going on. So in this kind of like greenhouse, if we go into, that's the wrong menu, go into our productions, I'll give you a bit of a run on what we're doing. So we've got the sawmill that's producing planks for us, and that makes good money, but we kind of hold off selling them until the best time, which I think, if I remember, is around April. So we're going to try and sell them all. We've got ourselves a forklift to do that. And then this is the greenhouse, and at the moment we're making sugar beets. And we're doing it by adding water, seeds and fertilizer. You can either put manure in, but we haven't got any manure, so we were doing solid fertilizer. And it's producing us some sugar beets that get spawned out here. And then what we're doing is putting them into this nifty little thing, which is kind of like a sugar beet sorter. It's actually giving us an increase of 20%. So every time we do that, we put under the trailer underneath, we get an extra 20%, and then we're putting it into our root crop storage area. So this is going to have potatoes in eventually, which is going to be the task we do in this episode. We harvest our potato field, and the sugar beets we keep putting into here. So this is our most recent field. We have got 3 arable fields. There's that one there, and then this one just over here. So we started off with just the one. We moved over to this one. I then made a small tiny one at the start of this year, which is where the potatoes are. And we decided as well to do another one over here. Now, weirdly, I actually got these all to be the exact same size. And I didn't even aim to do that. But if we actually hit that, you can see it's 2.24, 2.36, and 2.25. So I don't know how that happened, but they are pretty much all the same size. So we did oats in that, and they are sitting in silo ready to sell at the right time. We've harvested all 3 fields. And traditionally, the crops, or the arable side of actually the harvest that we've been doing, it's not really been bringing us much money in. So it's not benefited us a lot. So we're going to try and improve that soon by having probably improved field sizes and so on. Maybe going for some different type of crop, but we did need straw this time around, so we went with oats. So that's all harvested. We've done the straw baling. It's stored away as well. So it will be sold as soon as it's the right time. Now, this is another plot that we did actually in the last episode where we were planting in trees, and we've gone with stone pine. Now, so we gone with stone pine because they're really good to harvest. They generate a lot of income back. And I think I did up to this, probably like down that patch there. You see that line down? That was where I ended the episode, and I said I was going to manually put some more in on this side. So we planted so many, it was unreal. Over 100. And these are obviously, hopefully, fingers crossed, these are going to grow and give us a massive influx of cash when we harvest all these. It's going to take us some time. We are literally just doing chainsaw, trailer, and a front loader at the moment with a log grab. There's probably a better word for that, but log grab. Taking them up with this trailer here, which doesn't hold too much, taking them up to our sawmill and selling them that way, or putting them in to be processed into planks. But it does generate so much money, and it's been our main source. So I am hopeful that when these grow, which will take some time, but it is 50% reduced to the normal time, just because obviously we're creating series. We can't wait 2 years or 3 years and so on, 4 years sometimes. We need it speeding up a little bit. So we've gone 50% at the rate it normally is. So it's half of what it takes to get them to the full size. So it doesn't take as long, but we still have to wait probably maybe close to 2 years, I'd say. I think it is about 1.5 years, 2 years, something like that, till we get this. So we'll be doing plenty in between, but it's nice to know that we haven't got to worry about running out of logs, because at one point I thought we were going to run out of trees, which, looking around, you think, how's that possible? But there's some of it I want to keep because it looks good. I've kind of built this up. I even built all the terraforming on this map and started off with this kind of track that was dead difficult to drive up, and I was struggling for ages to get the right tractor that would get up the hill, take us to the sawmill to sell our, obviously, the logs. So this is the sawmill, pretty straightforward. We bought the forklift not long ago, and we are producing planks, and we manually load them on and take them to sell. And then here we've got this, which is pretty cool. It basically just makes us lime when we do some stones. So that is pretty much the gist of where we're at. We've got loads of little bits and bobs going on throughout the time. But if you're new to the series, I just wanted to give you a bit of a recap. Also, it was good for me because I haven't played this save game for about a month now, and I was really enjoying the survival playthrough. So I just thought it'd be good to do a bit of a recap for anyone that's been watching from the start, but also for anyone that's new to the series, so you can understand where we are, what the aim is, and what the next steps are. Right, so before we get started, I just want to apologise about my voice. I've had a bit of bad luck this year. I've actually picked up like COVID twice, I think. Just a little bit of bad luck. I'm perfectly fine though, but I thought I'd point out that my voice might not sound the best. I am just getting over it. So apologies if I don't sound too good on the videos. Right, so with that being said, let's take off all this malarkey and we'll jump back into kind of normal mode. So it's August. We've done the oats, we've done some grass silage, we've done hay, straw. Especially the last episode, I think I ended on saying I'd put the bales away. So let me just quickly point out that's what we've done. So the straw bales are all nicely stacked in here with the hay bales that we did previously. So we've got plenty of bales going on. That's enough for us now to stock up on. And I also brought in the silage bales that we did in the previous episodes as well. So they're all stacked away, stored, ready to be used for our feed mixes. Now, I do want to aim to get a new tractor. That's going to be like the end of the year target after we sold all the grain, sold all the sugar beets, sold even the potatoes. That will be probably around the same time as the oats and the sugar beets. I think they all come in around December, January is the best time. So after we've done all that and hopefully done a bit more logging, where the signs on there are there, that's our next area to start chopping down and making a clearing, because I have actually put a fence. If we just go quickly run down, you can see that there's a boundary fence that's given me a good idea of where my land ends, and I put that in between episodes just so we knew where we can actually go out to. So we're going to try and build ourselves in this area. The target for the next expansion is going to be a bigger pasture either for cows that gives us the byproducts we need, or we're going to be doing an extra, I think, sheep pasture, but can hold a lot more sheep than we can currently do, because wool is such a good earner when you sell it in massive quantities. So that has to be a priority for us. So we're going to build to that, make some clearings. Obviously, we'll generate enough money, hopefully, from the logs to buy ourselves a tractor. It's going to be, I'm hoping to get a replacement for the Hurleyman. So if I actually just bring up my equipment when it comes to tractors, some of these tractors are actually at the store. They're there for reasons. At one point, I was leasing them when we had snow to do snow clearing for us. We'd pay a set amount of money to the store, for example, and then they'd do a job for us. So that we don't actually own that. We don't actually own the front loader as well. It's just store items to help us out when loading things on and so on. So small tractors. This is pretty much this is just for show now. We're not going to get rid of that. Just as a kind of reminder of where we started. And the Hurleyman is the one that I think is the least power now and offers us the least amount of use anymore. So this is the one I want to replace out. It's 90 horsepower. It's not a bad tractor, don't get me wrong, but the John Deere has a front loader. It's 100 horsepower, so it's a little bit more. So we're not going to get rid of that. And our beast at the moment is the Landini, 190 horsepower, massive rear tyres. It is just a beast when it gets up the hill to get to the sawmill, so we're not going to sell that. But if I can get a 150 horsepower tractor and replace the Hurleyman with that, so we could obviously aim to sell the Hurleyman for the 12,000, get a bit of money to kind of do this. We're probably going to go in the used vehicle market. That's where we've been aiming for. So as you can see, this kind of regenerates and repopulates. I think it's every month in game. So for me, that would be every 3 days. And yeah, there's some good items sometimes that show up. But currently, as you can tell, there is no tractors except this one. But that's well out of our budget because we still need to build a pasture. So the two main things, I think, pasture and a tractor. So we need to start generating some money. So that's pretty much where we're at. Giving you an update of the time of year we're at, what we've already done, what we need to do left, which is the potatoes, which is just here. It's only a small field, but we do need to do it. So that's what we should crack on with now. I mean, I've been chatting. Again, it's a recap. I am going to try my very best to make this, again, a series that's more active to the channel. At least one episode a week, and it could be a little bit longer just to try and accommodate the fact that it's just the one episode. So I'm going to be doing my 2 Farmland videos. They pretty much fluctuate from being a Saturday, a Sunday, or a Monday. So you'll get 2 episodes in between and 3 days. Don't know. Sometimes I do aim to try and do Saturday and Sunday, but sometimes it's difficult. So I try at least to do a Saturday and then maybe a Monday. But yeah, it really just depends on time. And I'm also doing Atticum as well, just because I want to use Maze Plus a lot more. So that series is kind of just there as a partial series that eventually will be replaced with a new map and all that kind of stuff, where we'll properly focus on precision farming and Maze Plus. But just to try and play it at its current state with the maps that we've got available, which isn't that many, to be honest. Especially UK maps, I think we still are lacking. So I think it's time to crack on. We've got the potatoes to do. I think that's a good point to just try and focus on getting that done before the end of the episode. And this is the beast that we're going to use. We did buy this and we haven't actually used it, but it's an all-in-one kind of system. It's got a topper on the front, so it'll remove the tops. And yeah, it'll do the harvesting at the same time. It's not the biggest width on the actual tool, and I think it's loud as hell. So what I'm going to do with this one, just to save everyone's ears, is I might actually go into game settings and turn vehicle sounds down. I do try and keep it down, but we'll keep it at that. Hopefully that's a little bit better. It's a very loud vehicle. Yeah, it's massive noise. Let's try that. There we go. That's much better. So let's hope that this goes all right. I mean, it's not the biggest header at the front, but it should do the job. And we're taking in potatoes, that's the main thing. Now, I only went with a small field just because I know how much effort it takes to get potatoes, obviously, from the ground. It's easy to plant them, but to bring them up takes ages. It really does. You need some really expensive equipment to make it a little bit easier, but this is a great mod, and I have used it. I think I used it in FS19 as well, and it just makes your life a little bit easier when it comes to doing potatoes, because you kind of start off small, but also it's not too bad. You don't have to buy much equipment, whereas yeah, sugar beets and all that as well, that's pretty straightforward, because you can get a different type of topper, I think it is, for this, or it does both. So we can use this for actually sugar beets as well. Now, ideally, I'd be doing something with these potatoes, like productions wise, but we just can't afford the buildings. I know we could make some chips or crisps. I know I've got a few mods that allows me to do that. But in the meantime, yeah, it's all about having the cash to do that. But one day, hopefully soon, we'll have a lot of cash from all the logs we've planted, and we can invest in some really good equipment. We could probably invest in an open patch of fields on no man's land, and they come in like blocks. You can buy a block and just turn it into one massive arable field, and just bring in some great cash that way. Hopefully. But it shouldn't take too long, this shouldn't. We will be doing some up and down roads, and I am going to be using vehicle control add-on for my GPS, which is my preferred choice. So I'll probably skip a row when doing that, maybe skip 2. It is difficult to see, like, it removes the tops off, but if you're not careful you can actually miss bits. But we'll do probably 3 headlands on this, just to make it easier for us. Maybe 2 actually, that's enough room, I'd say. Yeah, let's go with 2. We're not missing any bits in between, so it should be alright. And we're already at 64%, so we're going to have to get the tractor set up with the trailer, and at least we got storage. I'm happy that we got the root crop storage area, which was mainly for the sugar beets, which we do need to sort out as well, so we can sort that out after we've done this harvest. There's plenty sitting there needing to be sorted, and then from there we can go and dump them. And it's actually been really productive, that greenhouse, I forgot the word of it then. Yeah, that greenhouse has actually turned out to be quite a productive thing to have on the farm. It's producing a lot of sugar beets for us, and I think it helps that we're increasing it by 20% as well. So I think what I'll do when I get to round the corner and we're on the horizontal with the track that goes across the farm, I'll hopefully get there and we'll open up the pipe and we'll go and get the tractor set up with a trailer, because I think this might just be perfect, you know. I think it is going to be. There we go. So I may as well stop here. I'll turn it off. Oh, that's not too bad. You do pick up a lot, don't you, really? Potatoes are crazy. So what do we need? We're going to go with, I'm trying to think, John Deere. Yeah, why not? Let's go with the John Deere. I do need to do a feed mix as well for the animals. That is something that the cows definitely need. Every other animal, the sheep, the chickens, they're all fine, but the cows, they really do need a feed mix. So I'm just trying to think if it'd be better to use the smaller trailer than that one, because we are pulling with the John Deere. Now I have taken manual attachment off because I have installed the pumps and hoses DLC on this series. Now it hasn't got precision farming. I didn't want to use precision farming for this, so I was trying to keep it original to where I started, but I don't think the pumps and hoses mod is going to affect the gameplay too much, so I decided to keep that. But I was having some conflict issues with the manual attachment mod, so I have removed that for the meantime, but I will put that back in if it gets sorted out. I think we need a patch though from the manual attachment side. So there we go, that's that done. It all looks good and happy. It's actually picked up quite a lot in such a short amount that we've harvested. It just goes to show that sugar beets, the volume, the actual output from the field is such a is so much higher than normal arable crops, which is obviously beneficial because the price itself is a lot lower to kind of balance itself out. But I think from my testing when I first started playing FS22 from 19, sugar beets especially were just a really good way to make money if you had the patience and time and obviously the right equipment, which is initially a massive investment as well. So they really are good income. Not compared to grass silage, obviously. Grass silage is the main thing. But again, you also need really good equipment for grass silage. We were making some good money off it. It was more than we were making from the arable side of things. But that being said, it was still not as much as logging. So our main income has been logging. Right, so I have enabled the GPS now, and we're going to just start doing some up and down rows here. I think the 2 was enough, but I'm probably going to try and skip a couple of rows doing this. Let's just see how the vehicle turns. Yeah, we'll just try and skip the 1. And I'll actually move my... I'm actually using a Stream Deck for this. Just makes my life a little bit easier. So I think now is a perfect time for me to stick in a bit of a time lapse just as I finish this field off. Then we'll move over to doing the sugar beet sorting, and finally I'm going to do a feed mix as well. Probably the video will be a little bit longer than normal ones, but I am trying to make them a little bit longer just because I know I'm probably only going to be doing the 1 episode a week. Right, so there we go. That's the harvest done. And I think we picked up a good amount. But the problem was, I couldn't tip it into that. So it must mean that it can only take 1 crop at a time. So because we've got sugar beets in there, we can't put the potatoes in, which isn't a problem. it means we're probably just going to have to dump it here and then scoop it up when we need to sell it. It's not ideal because in real life, you storing root crops like this, you want to keep it really aerated in certain environments where, as you can see with that, it's got fans on the side, because most of the time it needs to have a really good airflow in there so it doesn't obviously get mouldy and they rot and there's moisture in there. Without that, potatoes, and especially potatoes, they just don't store very well. So we're just going to have to not be 100% realistic in that sense and just put them on the floor and wait a few months. They'll still be fresh, honest. Right, so now we're going to sort out the sugar beets. I'm actually just going to stay in this trailer. Normally I like to use the bigger one with the Landini, but we're going to stay in this because we do need to start processing through some of them. And yeah, just try to take account of where we're at as well. Probably need to chop that tree down. Right, so we'll just put that there. We'll turn her off. Now I can pick these up, which is good. So the way I've been doing this is just tipping them into this. So we turn it on and it should start automatically sorting them out. Now all it does is just increase the volume by 20%. It's that simple. There's nothing too special about it. It's just a way of increasing the amount that we actually get from the sugar beets. So each one of these is 1,000 litres. There we go, there's another one popped out. And it does actually process it quite quick as well, so we don't have to wait too long. And luckily we can store these as well. There we go. So it shouldn't take me too long to do this. I don't think we've got that much in storage, really. We can have a quick look. There we go. So we are storing only 828 now, so another one won't pop out. So we need it to be 1,000 litres before that spawns out again. But we can process through all these here. At least try to fill up the best we can the trailer. It just makes the job a bit smaller on the next time we have to do it, because if we keep chipping away at it, then it's not always going to be crazy volumes to try and process through. And it's good money, sugar beets are, if we sell a good amount, but I think we're going to need about, I think if we look at it's August, we try and get close to 100,000 litres from this, I'll be chuffed to bits. And we're doing well already, so it can be done. We've got enough fertiliser and water and seed, so we should be fine. Alright, so there we go. So now all we need to do is just let this process through, and as you can see, there's only 1,400 litres left. So it won't take long at all. And then we'll turn it off, and then we'll dump it into the storage area, and then as soon as we've done that, we're just going to do a feed mix. Because I do need to sort that out before I start skipping time, or else the cows aren't going to be happy at all. There we go, job done. So we are another 13,000 litres of sugar beets. That is pretty good going. So we'll just, like I said, tip this, and then we'll move over to doing a feed mix. I mean, I am on about upgrading the Hurleyman, but even the John Deere, it's, you know, a small tractor hauling trailers with the crops around. It's not the best for. It's only the Landini that seems to be working and doing the job really well. Everything else is struggling. It is weird how it would allow me to tip, but none of it was actually leaving the trailer when it was the potatoes. So I'm hoping this one doesn't do that now, because then it's another issue that I don't know the solution to. I'm sure it is. Yeah, there you go. It is literally just because we've got a reflection of a tree. That is strange. Right, there we go. Job done. So, let's just park this up over here. We're only going to need the Hurleyman because I find it's the best tractor to do the feed mixing. So, just because it's a small feed mixer and a small area to tip into. We can't tip from the back of the feed mix, we can only tip from the side, so this has always worked the best for it. And then we'll get the load all and we'll do a bit of a feed mix. There we go, hooked up. Can we just about make it? Yes, we can. So the way I've been doing this is pretty much like 2 bales of hay and 1 bale of silage, or the other way around, 2 bales of silage, 1 bale of hay. So I think this time around we have got quite a bit of silage and we've got quite a bit of hay, so it really doesn't matter, whereas before we had hardly any hay and it was already pretty much sorted for us what we could do. So why don't we stick 2 hay bales in and then just the 1 silage with this feed mix. Whoa. The turning on these, as good as this is, and it actually does look pretty awesome, the turning on them is it's just horrendous. You'd think a small loader like this would have a much better turning circle. So 2 bales of hay. And then, like I said, 1 bale of silage should just about... It fills us up and then we have 1 left. Well, it does fill us up, but then we have like a tiny bit left. But it does consume it. It still stays within the ratio, so it ends up being a full mix and a tiny bit more on top, basically. Until we start doing different bale sizes. That is. There we go. So while that's doing that, we'll go and pick up a silage bale. And I am using the mod that's came out recently. Sometime last week there was a mod. It was a round bale mod by Ola. And it changes the visual effects of a bale to a much more realistic look. So randomly, some of them have and some of them haven't. But I'm playing with it on the farm and it works a treat on that. So all the bales. So you can see that this bale here has got like a rounded edge. That's how the mod changes it, so it looks much better. But this is how it traditionally looks, which is not realistic to how a bale looks, put it that way. So we're going to need that, but I'm thinking I want to take the wrap off, but it won't allow me to take the wrap off. Oh well, that'll be fine. We'll just we'll grab it and then see if it works then. Look at the turn on this. That's the one thing I'd improve about this if I could. A much better turning circle. That'll be why. It's fermenting. This isn't actually fermented yet, is it? Yeah, so we need to take the bales from the rear. So we're going to have to go around the back. Not quite there yet with that. I don't think that's the reason why the round bales haven't kind of smoothed off around the edges, because that one that has, that was the same percentage of 89, so I don't think it is that. That's 98. The orange ones are definitely there, so we're going to have to probably take 2 out here and just use an orange bale. It is what it is. In fact, what I'll do is I'll actually pick this one up and then just move it on top, if I can. There we go. So we'll probably just roll into place. There we go. That worked. Just about. And then finally, we're just going to take this orange bale, and then we can take the wrap off this one as soon as we take it to the feed mix. We got there in the end. We have got, like I said, a lot more silage bales now, but they are still fermenting. But it'll definitely last us out. And we're hopefully, like I said, we're going to try and get more cows or more sheep, which means we're going to need more feed anyway, so it will come in use. There we go. Spot on. So that should be a perfect feed mix. In comparison to Maize Plus, obviously not, but we are running just the base game on this series. Let's turn the mixer on and the Hurleyman will go about. Actually, it's surprisingly going at a good speed. But you can see that a little bit is not consumed from that bale, but that will be consumed, and then it still does a pretty decent feed mix. So we're going to tip from the left hand side, so we're just going to try and maneuver this to be spot on. There we go, that'll work. So let's give them some TMR. They don't need straw or anything like that, just because they don't have any output of manure or slurry or anything, so we don't need to worry about that. We just have to feed them, they give us milk, and we give them water as well. So that bale should have been consumed, and it is, and it's still a TMR mix. And obviously they're happy, eating away, walking through walls, as you do. So we're close now. We'll have a quick look as well, just to see where the animals are at. But that should tie them over at least for another 3 days, maybe, in game. It doesn't last out. It's not the biggest capacity. It doesn't hold much. So as you can see, we're at 21,000 litres. We've given pretty much 19,500 litres of TMR. They're at 100% health, which is good. And we are generating a lot of milk as well. So that's also good. So if you have a look at our chickens, they don't need any feed at all. The sheep are happy. They don't produce much at all as well. We really need to sort that out. And we've got 35 brown Swiss again sorted out. And the chickens over here are sorted out. So I think we're pretty good there. We've done the final harvest of the year. We're now going to focus on probably chopping down some trees and making the clearing ready for when we put in a pasture. I still need to figure out. I don't know what kind it is. It might just be a large, hopefully, fingers crossed if we can afford it, a large cow barn, because cows are going to give the best return when it comes to milk. If not, we'll pick a large sheep pasture of some sorts. We're going to put it in that direction when we've made the clearing. We're also going to try and buy ourselves a tractor. So probably in the next episode, we'll be making the clearing itself, looking at the logging side of things, and probably taking some more logs up to sell. But not only to sell, we're going to stock up and put some wood into the sawmill to make into planks as well. And then we'll keep an eye out as well for the prices, because we'll probably be at least into September next month. We're not going to be doing any more silage now. Probably we could do another cut maybe, and if we do get a chance, I might just do that and sell it all as silage, like silage round bales. But we'll see how the grass fares. I know we're probably at the second stage, so we might be actually one off chopping, which means in September this will be ready. And if that's the case, we may as well do it, because it's going to bring in some more money. And I could use auto drive and courseplay to do that for me. Yeah, I think it is one off, so it makes sense. But yeah, on that note, I am going to leave the video there. So thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it every time. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up, because that does help my channel out. And if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator.